For 5,000 years, we've been told a story. A story of radiant gods sailing across golden skies. Of benevolent deities watching over humanity with unwavering compassion. But what if everything we've been told is a carefully constructed lie? These are not the gods you think you know. These are manipulators, killers, beings whose thirst for power knew no bounds, and their secrets could reshape everything you believe about the ancient world. Tonight, we journey beyond the sanitized myths, beyond the museum displays and children's books. Secret number 1, the theft of divine power. In the beginning, there was Ra, the creator god who spoke light into existence, who carved mountains from his breath and set the Nile flowing with his tears. For eons, he ruled unchallenged, his names echoing across the heavens. Khepra at dawn, Ra at noon's zenith, Temu as darkness fell. But Ra possessed something beyond his public titles, a secret name, the word that contained his very essence, his ultimate power, hidden away like a poison blade, protecting him from those who might seek to control the unconquerable. In the shadows of the divine court, someone was watching, waiting. Isis, goddess of magic and healing, Ra's own granddaughter, whose brilliant mind harbored an ambition that burned brighter than the sun itself. As Ra aged under the weight of eternity, Isis observed a moment of weakness. The great god, weary and ancient, allowed spittle to fall from his lips to the earth below. In that single drop lay opportunity. With surgical precision, Isis gathered the earth moistened with Ra's essence. Her hands worked in darkness, molding clay and saliva into something that had never existed before. A serpent crafted specifically to harm a god. When the creature struck, its venom spread through Ra's immortal body like liquid fire. The screams of the sun god shattered the heavens. He who had never known pain writhed in agony beyond mortal comprehension, calling out to his fellow deities, "Something wounds me, though none should possess such power. None know my hidden name, the word sealed within me since birth." And then she appeared. Isis emerged from the shadows, her voice honey-sweet with false concern. "Great Ra, only your true name can drive out this poison. Share it with me, and I will save you." Ra resisted, reciting his known titles, his public names, but the venom burned deeper and the pain grew beyond endurance. In a moment that would echo through eternity, the King of Gods surrendered his ultimate secret. The name passed from Ra to Isis like a transfer of cosmic authority. And in that instant, the balance of divine power shifted forever. From the Ramesside papyri discovered in the worker tombs of Deir el-Medina, we know this was more than myth. To the ancients, names possessed literal power. They were the essence of being itself. Isis had achieved the impossible. She had stolen the authority of creation itself. Secret number 2, the rise of the forgotten. Before the world began, there was only Nun, an endless ocean of potential, dark and still, where consciousness itself had yet to stir. From these primal waters emerged 8 beings, the Ogdoad of Hermopolis, creatures of the threshold between nothingness and creation. 4 bore the heads of frogs, 4 the heads of serpents. They embodied the raw forces that preceded existence, Nun and Naunyet, the stagnant waters. He and Hauhet, boundless space. Kek and Kelket, impenetrable darkness. And among them, almost forgotten, was Amun and his consort Amonet, embodiments of hiddenness itself, the invisible air that would one day carry the breath of life. In those primordial depths, Amun was nothing more than a frog-headed deity squatting in cosmic mud, his voice a croak in the endless dark. While his companions represented grand concepts, infinity, darkness, the primeval waters, Amun remained hidden, unremarkable, forgotten. Yet from their stirring in the waters, from their divine congress in the darkness, came the cosmic egg that would birth the sun itself. Centuries passed, millennia. The other gods rose to prominence while Amun remained in the shadows of Thebes, a local deity of little consequence, until the Middle Kingdom. Through a transformation that defies easy explanation, this forgotten frog god began to merge with Ra himself, not through conquest or conflict, but through a divine synthesis that would create Amun-Ra, the hidden sun, the concealed power behind all creation. From the inscriptions at Speos Artemidos and the great temple of Karnak, we witness perhaps history's greatest reversal of fortune. The deity who began as a croaking voice in primordial mud became the supreme god of Egypt, the king of the gods whose power was acknowledged from Nubia to the Mediterranean. Sometimes the greatest power lies not in what is seen, but in what remains hidden. Secret number 3. The guardian of forbidden knowledge. In the halls of divine wisdom sits Thoth, the ibis-headed scribe of the gods. To most, he appears the benevolent keeper of knowledge, inventor of hieroglyphs, recorder of divine judgments, the steady hand that maintains cosmic order through the written word. But Thoth guards secrets that would terrify mortals and gods alike. Deep within his archives lies the Book of the Dead, not the peaceful guide to the afterlife we imagine, but a manual of power over death itself. These are spells designed not for the living, but for souls fighting their way through the treacherous paths of the Duat. Among its most dangerous incantations is spell 182, the Book for the Permanence of Osiris. Picture the scene it was designed for. Osiris, king of gods, murdered by his brother's jealous rage. His body dismembered, scattered across Egypt like pieces of a broken crown. Isis weeping as she gathered the fragment of her beloved, while darkness threatened to consume the world. It was Thoth who stepped forward with his divine stylus, inscribing words of power that had never been spoken.
O you soul, greatly majestic, behold, I have come that I may see you.
The spell worked. Death itself bent to Thoth's will, and Osiris rose to rule the underworld, not through natural resurrection, but through the raw power of divine hieroglyphs given voice. Yet Thoth possessed even more dangerous knowledge. The mythical Book of Thoth itself, a grimoire containing formulas to speak with animals, to see through divine disguises, to manipulate the very forces of creation. But this knowledge came with guardians, demonic slaughterers who would destroy any unworthy soul attempting to access its secrets. Even the gods themselves feared its depths. From the coffin texts to the papyrus of Ani, we see evidence of a civilization that believed written words could reshape reality itself. And at the center of this power sat Thoth, wise enough to wield ultimate knowledge, wise enough to hide it from those who would abuse it. Some doors, once opened, can never be closed. Secret number 4. The goddess of sacred rebellion. She appears in museums as a serene figure. Bastet, the cat goddess, guardian of hearth and home, protector of women and children. A gentle deity for gentle worship. Each year, as the Nile's floods receded, something extraordinary happened at Bubastis in the Delta. 700,000 pilgrims, more than the population of most ancient cities, converged for Bastet's festival. The Greek historian Herodotus, writing in 450 BCE, described scenes that would have scandalized the more conservative elements of Egyptian society. Boats packed with revelers sailed down the Nile, music echoing across the water, inhibitions cast aside like discarded garments. At riverside towns, the pilgrims would stop their boats and stage impromptu performances. Women danced with abandon, called out to their sisters on the shore, and celebrated freedoms that ordinary life denied them. In Bubastis itself, the festival reached its crescendo. More wine was consumed in those sacred nights than the rest of Egypt drank in a year. The city pulsed with drums and sistrums, with dancing that blurred the lines between sacred ritual and ecstatic release. But perhaps the most telling testament to Bastet's power came not in celebration, but in conquest. When Persian armies invaded Egypt, they faced a seemingly impossible task. The Egyptians were fierce warriors, defending their homeland with legendary determination. The Persian solution was as brilliant as it was ruthless. They captured cats, Bastet's sacred animals, and strapped them to their shields. The Egyptian army, faced with the choice between victory and sacrilege, chose reverence over conquest. Bubastis fell without a battle, surrendered because its people could not bring themselves to harm the goddess's beloved creatures. From the papyri of Brooklyn to Herodotus's detailed accounts, we see in Bastet something unique in the ancient world. A goddess who created space for feminine expression, for celebration, for the kind of freedom that empires would exploit but could never truly understand. Secret number 5. The trial that shaped kingship. In the pantheon of Egyptian gods, no story is more fundamental or more brutal than the conflict between brothers, Osiris and Seth. Osiris, the civilizing god who taught humanity agriculture and law. Under his rule, Egypt flourished. The Nile ran pure, harvests were abundant, and harmony reigned between gods and mortals. But Seth, god of the desert and storms, master of chaos, watched his brother's glory with growing resentment.
My loyal subjects, I have a gift to reveal. Brother, surely this coffin could fit no one but you. Will you honor us by testing it?
I've been waiting for this moment for a very long time.
The instant Osiris lay down within it, the trap snapped shut. Molten lead sealed the lid, and the coffin became a tomb, cast into the Nile's waters to carry Egypt's king to his doom. What followed was a journey through grief that would define Egyptian mythology forever. Isis, Osiris's queen, searched the known world for her husband's body. When she found it, Seth's rage had multiplied. The corpse had been dismembered, scattered across Egypt in 14 pieces. Through magic and determination, Isis recovered all but one piece, consumed by the fish of the Nile, and with Thoth's assistance, restored Osiris to a semblance of life, but he could no longer rule the living. Instead, he descended to become king of the dead, judge of souls in the underworld. Their son Horus, born of their brief reunion, grew to challenge Seth for his father's throne. What followed was no simple battle, but a divine trial that lasted 80 years. The contendings of Horus and Seth, witnessed by all the gods. Yet perhaps the most profound element of this myth lies in its recognition of Seth's dual nature. Though he murdered his brother in jealous rage, he also served a cosmic function. Each night, as Ra's solar bark traveled through the underworld, it was Seth who stood at its prow, spearing the chaos serpent Apophis to ensure the sun's rebirth. From the pyramid texts to Plutarch's later accounts, this story asks a question that resonates across millennia. Can redemption coexist with justice? Can the destroyer also be the protector? The trial of Seth and Horus wasn't just about divine succession, it was about the nature of kingship itself. the balance between order and chaos, the price of power and the possibility of forgiveness. These are not merely ancient stories gathering dust in forgotten tombs. They are mirrors held up to the human condition, reflections of ambitions that consume us, betrayals that shape us, knowledge that both elevates and destroys us. In Isis's calculated manipulation of Ra, we see every political power play, every moment when cunning triumphs over authority. In Amun's rise from obscurity, we witness the potential that lies hidden in the margins, waiting for its moment to reshape the world. In Thoth's dangerous wisdom, we confront our own relationship with forbidden knowledge, the temptation to possess truths that might unmake us. In Bastet's sacred celebrations, we recognize the human need for freedom, for spaces where convention cannot reach us. And in the tragedy of Seth and Osiris, we face the most difficult questions of justice, family, and the thin line between protector and destroyer. 5,000 years ago, Egyptian scribes carved these stories in stone because they understood something we're still learning. Human nature transcends time. The struggles of gods mirror the struggles of mortals. The questions they asked about power, knowledge, freedom, justice, and forgiveness remain our questions. The gods of ancient Egypt live on not in museum display cases, but in every choice we make between ambition and ethics, between safety and truth, between order and freedom. Their secrets were never really about the gods at all. They were about us.